Hello viewers, you're welcome to Economy Today on TVRC. I am your host for today, Olaniun Oluwatobiloba is my name. And with me here I have Dr. Akintunde Somi Vincent. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's good to have you with us on set today. We're going to be talking about agriculture, industrialization and diversification, the hope for Nigeria's economic transformation. And to get started with this session today, I'd like to ask Doctor, can you shed more light on this concept? You know, how the meaning of this concept and how they affect and impact the Nigerian economic system.
Well, without mincing word, without wasting word, let's just dive into it straight up. When you talk about agriculture, you're talking about plant and animals. And when you want to talk about industrialization, you are also talking about industry. And you can't talk about industry without talking about production
and manufacturing.
Production of raw materials into finished products.
Yes, indeed.
And when you talk about diversification, then you are talking about harnessing the resources of a country holistically. Not focusing on one particular sector of the economy. You are looking at all sectors of the economy. For example, you are looking at mineral resources. You are looking at petroleum resources. You are looking at agricultural. You are looking at all
services,
all area, even human resources.
Yes.
Not just goods alone. You are also looking at service. You are looking at human resources. Like you're talking about the Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Youth and Youth Development, and holistically, when a government has been able to touch all these areas, that's how you can say that the government is actually diversifying. Not a government that puts just its egg in one basket.
And it seems we are failing in that regard here in
yes,
Nigeria.
we are. It has become it's no longer news in this country that all our effort is on the petroleum products. Forgetting the fact that we can make up billions of dollars, because that's the currency of the world now, from solid minerals.
Resources, yes.
In Nasarawa, there's a what's it called? This new resource that they used to create batteries.
Lithium.
The lithium, largely in Ondo State, bitumen. Largely, what's the second largest in the whole of West Africa?
Wow.
Look at our. We have our arid farmland, unused land mass in this country, from the west to the north, from the north to the south, and south to the east. Arid, unused land mass that we can harness. But what are we doing? Here, everybody is crying, is shouting for his houses, is crying for hunger. When we have unused land mass that can give us a yam of 1 million tons monthly, 1 million tons. When we can have plantains of India hundreds of thousands. Bunch of all these
yes.
tons. Put them in tons. Put all these things inside. We can even export to the. Like I said for the often time that there was a time in this country when the likes of Malaysia, Singapore were learning from us. I told somebody recently that they came to this country to pick palm kernel, and today they are the largest producers of oil. Virtually all the Asian tigers, they are now lending to the nations. Lending to nations. Look at Indonesia. Look at even India here. It's the pharmacy hub of the world. Everybody, when somebody is sick, they travel to India for their chemotherapy or for for all manner of treatment. India. Look at Switzerland. Focusing on banking
system.
It's good for you to be known for something, but you have to make whatever that is within the confine of whatever that is within your environment. You have to make sure you harness it for the betterment of your environment, for the development of your environment. Like I said, we have all this. We have unused land mass. Going back to the basis of our discussion again, we are looking at agriculture and industrialization. Take a look at tomato paste. Take a look at tomatoes. You can make tomato paste from tomatoes.
Yes.
You can make candies from cocoa. You can make beverages from cocoa. You can make a golden morn. You can make cereal, all this cereal
yes.
from maize, you can all manner from. Look at our soya, look at our soya beans. Look at our. You can make soya milk from soya beans. And when we're able to do all this, because it has to pass through the process, pass through the rigors of a scientific process, it has to pass through a scientific process. That's where industrialization comes in. And when that comes in, then you are engaging your citizens. Employment will become the order of the day. Unemployment will fizzle out of the system. Take a look at, let's say, in the southwest, we have a whole lot of farmland where we have a cocoa farmland, a whole lot of cocoa farmland. Then we have a kind of all manner of factory that produces candies, that beverages. You are not going to put animals there. You are going to put human beings there. Then look at our unemployment rate in this country. It's because we fail to strategize, we fail to think outside the box, and that's where all this is. Little wonder, even the one that were working back in time in retrospect, most of them are not working anymore. We used to have Oduwa glass, we used to have Ajakuta steel. Most of all these things, they are not moribund, and they will just give you a kind of caricature. This, in my opinion, I don't think that's the way to go, because if you are going to diversify, we have to be sure that we are committed. 100% committed into those who are doing it. They don't have to wait.
Yes, indeed.
Look at Brazil. Look at Portugal. Look at Spain. Look at the US. Till date, do you know Volkswagen in Germany is older than? Has been in operation since in the 80s. It's for only God knows the. It
has been
in operation for over a long period of time, and they are still working to date. Look at all these Toyotas. Look at most of all this Rockefeller company back in time in retrospect. Carnegie still in the US, Rockefeller and the petroleum product. They are still working to date. But here in this country, company of less than 25 years, they've already packed up. They've already packed up. There used to be one. Look at they used to have Leyland in Ibadan for car production. Leyland. We used to have Dunlop tire production. You have to Unilever. We used to, so many that they are not more. They are even out of the country. They are no longer working. So how can we encourage industrialization?
Wow.
How many industries do we really have in this country that we can be boasted of? Except from, you want to talk about Iwekoro, or the cement factory. You want to talk about pure water factory. You want to talk about bakeries. That is not the way to go. We cannot leverage on all those. We have to, champion some level of industrialization that will make us a giant figure, that will make us a figure to be reckoned with among the League of Nations. Not just production of bread and butters alone. You have to, for crying out loud, Nigeria is a giant of Africa. Africans are watching. Other African nations are watching us in Africa. They are watching Nigeria. We cannot afford to fail them. Back in time, we used to have economy of over $500 billion, but debt has reduced to nothing less than maybe 1 million, or I don't know, maybe some few hundred million, or just few millions dollars now, maybe $100 million now, $100 million plus dollars.
Wow, that's
so when you see, and before, like I said on this program, that your population should be a blessing to you. Should be a blessing when your population, and this has been the situation across the globe, that if you have the highest your population, the highest your economic growth.
Should be
ideally. Go to Brazil, in that part of the continent, they are the leading economy. Go to Germany, in the Western Europe, they are the leading economy. Go to Russia, in the Eastern Europe, they are the leading economy. Go to what's it called, America, in North America, they are the leading economy. Come to the same thing in that China, in that particular region. Come to Nigeria. We are the higher, we have the population, but we are not even the fourth largest economy in Africa. We are not even the fourth largest economy. So, like I said, all this agricultural produce that we have in that God has blessed us with, we're supposed to sit down and see how we can, make something out of them. We have to make sure we get our heart correctly, build a very wonderful industry that will champion the cause of our produce instead of wasting resources. Do you know they have lifespan? Tomatoes have has a last lifespan, maybe 3 months maximum. They are out of this. But what can we do to make sure that our tomatoes can stay for years? It has to come through industrialization. Our cereals, they all have lifespan. That's why we have the annual crops, we have the biennial crops,
and the perennial.
we have the perennial crops. Look at our oil palms. We can always have oil palms. We can always have palm oil in and out of season if we are able to champion industrialization. And you cannot say we are in Africa and you want to think about how you want to make apple juice, where you know that apple does not really grow.
Does not grow here.
Does not really grow substantially in Nigeria, in Africa, or in, let's say, Nigeria. Why not? We have oil palms. We have cocoa. We have pawpaw. We have we can make vinegar. We can make all manner of drinks. We can make all manner of products. That will serve the interest of the Nigerian, and that will serve the interest of that will serve the interest of others across Nigeria too. We can feed ourselves in this country. We can take care of ourselves, and we can take care of people outside Nigeria.
Our neighbors, yes. Wow, that's a whole lot. Thank you so much, Doctor. You've been able to address this concept and their impacts on the Nigerian economic system. Now, I want us to go straight into looking at what the government is doing, the actions of the government towards ensuring diversification. So I want to ask, what exactly is Nigeria's current standing when it comes to the development and the adoption of economic diversification policies? Is the government trying to adopt diversification policies, or have they just been concentrated on crude oil alone?
You see, sometimes you can be deceiving yourself, thinking that you are deceiving everybody. Nigeria, it just appears that they want to adopt others. They want to adopt this policy, diversification policy, but they are not really. Most of them know why they are in power. And there's part of the sector, the economic sector, that is being harnessed, like I call it, undercover. The level of transparency is not well known. For example, we look at the solid minerals. The way we talk about barrels of oil per day, how many are we talking about? The number of mined gold per day. We are not talking about it. The number of mined lithium per day, are we talking about it? No. The number of mined diamond per day, are we talking about it? No. It's not even known to, and I wasn't surprised when I wouldn't want to call the name of the minister who is actually in charge of that particular, and it's kind of a relationship with the incumbent president. Okay, but like I said, that particular area has been more or less like being shaded a little bit. We know little or nothing about that particular area. So Nigeria, it appears, for all and sundry, we can say categorically that we are not transparent about the policy of diversification. Some people will tell you that this principle is what we should embrace holistically for the development of the nation. But so far so good. What we can lay claim to, or lay claim to, is that of petroleum. That we know that every day from the record of NNPCL, from the record of Dangote Refinery, that we are producing this also amount of petroleum products. But number of palm oil that is going out of this country, is there a record for it? Your guess is as good as mine. The number of, like I said, solid minerals, even our human resources, what we've achieved over time, how many of the record can we? So, could you then say that we have a record for that we've embraced the diversification policy? So, like I said, we cannot. Let's not deceive ourselves. We all know that the purpose of the government, why it's always the icing on the cake is always the petroleum products. But we have to wise up and look at other areas where we can always harness for development of our nation.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor. Now, to finalize this session, I would like to ask, especially regarding the issue of diversification policies not being adopted, or at least maybe some back end issues with that. I want to also confirm, how exactly do you think this concept, this issue of diversification, can now be adopted? What measures can be taken to ensure that they are adopted to drive and improve our economic system?
Well, there must be what I call the willpower. Willpower. We must be intentional about. The government must be intentional about it. If they are going to, they have to be intentional. There must be a political will, and there must be some modicum of transparency if you are going to drive this policy. Because you can't tell us that, this country that God has blessed us so many things, and we don't have record. It is what you have record of. That's what you can always make a critique of. How do I know if we have if I'm currently sitting on gold, or even if it's been mined? I remember that was part of the issues with Osun State government recently and the federal government, the issue of the mining of gold. And Osun State government was so bent on government paying. They must also pay some modicum of money to the coffers of the states if they are going to continue mining that gold. And it generated a lot of controversy between the Minister of Mineral Resources, meaning the Minister of Solid Minerals, and the government and the Governor of Osun State. So, like I said, if you are going to move forward in that regard, if you are going to embrace the policy, it has to come with some intentionality. The government must be intentional about it. They must adopt there must be a political will to wanting to say, okay, fine, this is the situation. This is the number of cows we have in Nigeria. This is the number of cows that will be moving out outside Nigeria. This is the number of cows we have within Nigeria. Our farmland, Ondo State, cocoa, they have this amount of cocoa farm, and they are going to, in the next 3 months, or they are going to come up with maybe beverages like in their tons of, in tons, like millions of tons. They are going to come out with all that, or millions of cartons. We come out from that body. That's what we call. That's a government that is serious, that knows what it's doing. Look at watermelon from the northern part of the country. Look at onion. Look at cucumber. Look at carrots from other part of the country, from agricultural produce. Just to cite a very good example. Or let's go to, I've talked about solid minerals, talked about agriculture. What about other areas? What about our petroleum products? Do you know the number of our petrol that is being carted away from the sea, stolen from the sea, that we don't even have account of? So we have to take record seriously. You have to be intentional about it. There must be a political will, and the government must be transparent. I think that's the way to go.
Wow, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much. You've been able to do justice to this particular topic, make us understand how Nigeria can get to adopt agriculture, industrialization and diversification to get to improve and transform our economy. There you have it, viewers, on Economy Today on TVRC. I remain your humble host, Olanio Kudus Oluwatobiloba, and with me, thank you, Doctor, for honoring our invitation to be here today. Till next time, have a wonderful day.